Welcome to Contours of Our Soul and Beyond. This is a continuation of why we write. So we write because we must. I'm an author, so we must write. Why do we write? People keep asking. I've been asked that question more times than I can count. I always get asked that. And every time I search for an answer that sounds reasonable, I love stories. I have a vivid imagination. What else can I say? I've always wanted to be an author. I guess when I was writing letters to my dad, I didn't really want to be an author at the time. I didn't think of it that way. But I know putting words on paper, even if it's not published, you're automatically the author of what's written on that piece of paper, or a book, or notebook, or anything, a card. Like, you are the author no matter what. You're not an author just because you published a book. You could be an author as soon as you put words to paper. So those answers are true, but they're not the truth. The truth is that I don't think choosing writing, I think writing chose me because of the letters to my dad. Because even on the days when I promise myself I won't write, it usually doesn't work, because I do. So maybe it's the only line that one sentence scribbled on my phone while I'm waiting in line for a coffee. It could be anything. Maybe it's a thought that arrives in the middle of the night, refusing to let me sleep. That's usually, every author can relate to that. It won't let you sleep until you give it somewhere to live. That's how we create characters. Maybe it's a single word. But every day something asks to be written. That's why I think I write every day, or I post every day. I've started to believe that writers aren't people who create stories. We're people who hear the stories. We hear them before they're written down. The rest of the world walks through life. We walk through life collecting echoes. So a stranger laughing at themselves, it could be a child asking the impossible questions, or anything impossible. An old photograph tucked in a second-hand book you find. Sometimes it's yours, sometimes it belongs to somebody else. The silence after someone says, "I'm fine," and you can actually read them that, something more deeper is going on. We notice what the world almost forgets. And somehow we become responsible for remembering everything, or let it never be forgotten. What we saw, what we hear, or what we felt. People think writing is about finding the right words. I don't agree with that. I think it's about refusing to lose every word that we feel, or every word that we see or hear. Because moments disappear, conversations fade, all of that. Faces, they even blur. Even memories, the ones we swear we'll never forget, become softer around the edges over time. Writing is our quiet rebellion against forgetting. I really believe that. Every sentence says, this mattered. Every poem whispers, don't let this disappear. And I think every writer can relate that. Every novel insists, someone lived this, someone loved this, someone lost this. Maybe that's why writers carry notebooks all the time. I know I did since childhood. I always carry a notebook and a pen. If I forget my notebook, I always scribbled on napkins. That's why we stop in the middle of a walk, because a sentence has arrived and we type it on our phones or we write it in our notebook. Why do we replay conversations in our mind, searching for the exact cadence of someone's voice? Why do we do that? We're archetypes of the invisible. I think we are. Collectors of ordinary miracles. And we, there's something almost sacred about that, because the world is constantly moving and rushing and scrolling, forgetting. And the writer, or as the writers, a writer pauses. We kneel beside a moment everyone else walked past. I truly believe that. We brush the dust off from it. We say, look, did you see this? Sometimes no one does. Nobody sees it. Nobody sees what we see. Sometimes no one ever will. They'll never see what you see or get inspired of what makes you inspired. But we write it anyway. Not because every page will change or it will change the world. It's not about that. But because every page changes us. Every sentence teaches us how to look more closely, how to feel more deeply, and how to become a little more human than we were yesterday. So I think that's why we write. I've learned that writing isn't always an act of expression. It's not always about us. Sometimes it's an act of listening, listening to conversations, questions beneath the questions, listening to the parts of ourselves that only speak in metaphors. So listening to the quiet voice that says, if you don't write, or if you don't write this down, you'll lose something. You can never get it back. And that's true. If you don't write it that moment, it's not the same. It has to be written the moment you felt it. Maybe that's why I write every day, because if I don't write it down, it won't be the same. Even if it's only a one-liner, because one line can become a paragraph. That's how it starts. A paragraph can become a chapter. And a chapter can become a book. And this is one of them. And sometimes one line becomes the sentence that changes someone's life, maybe even your own. So, why do we write? I still get that question, and we ask ourselves. Not because we have it all the answers, we don't, but because we're still searching, not because we're trying to escape life. We're living it, enjoying it, but because we're trying to notice it. We notice every moment, and not because the world needs more words, but there's always room for more words. But because some truths refuse to exist until they're written down. So tomorrow, I encourage you, I'll write again, and I encourage you to write, maybe just one sentence, maybe only 6 words, but I'll show up, and you should show up, because writing isn't the reward. Writing is the returning, re-returning to yourself.